some pretty wild weather is hitting much of the country, so thanks for taking the time to join us today. We really appreciate it. We're going to just give everyone a couple more seconds to get situated, but as we're waiting, I just wanted to ask a quick show of hands. Do we have any A+ investors or AAII Platinum subscribers with us? If so, have you had a chance to check out the new AAII Investor Hub or the redesigned My Portfolio Plus yet? You can let us know in the question section of your GoToWebinar control panel. And even if you're not an A+ or Platinum user, we'd still love to hear where you're tuning in from. You know, John and I are joining us from Chicagoland area, and we're also bracing for some seriously cold weather tomorrow. So hopefully everything stays safe.
And the Investor Hub is available to all AAI members. So anybody can get access to it. In fact, I think Charles just did a article, a how-to article in the January journal that kind of introducing the tool to our membership. And we've been working behind the scenes trying to improve it and trying to make it more central to as an access point to all of our analytics and research and whatnot. So yeah, thank you. We're curious to see how many members are using it and the feedback we're getting, and there's some feedback opportunities within the tool itself. And I know our developers are anxiously looking at all the information that's flowing back and forth to help make sure we're on the right path as far as making it better and making it more useful to everybody here.
Correct. And you can visit the Investor Hub by going to hub.aaii.com and then entering your AAII member credentials. So whatever you use normally to log in via the AAII website, you can use at the with the AAII Investor Hub as well.
Well, very good. Well, should we get started, Jenna?
That sounds good. Well, hello and welcome to this afternoon's webinar inside the new AAII Investor Hub and My Portfolio Plus, led by John Bajkowski. Thank you so much for joining us. We are happy to have you all here. My name is Jennifer Shear, and I will be your host for today. We appreciate you joining us as we highlight some of AAII's biggest updates yet, the all-new AAII Investor Hub and redesigned My Portfolio Plus tool. Our team has spent months, just like John said, working on these new updates, and we are very excited to go through them with you today. So before we begin, there are a few things I'd like to go over. I want to remind all of our webinar viewers that AAII is a nonprofit educational group and is not a financial advisor and thus is not able to give personal advice. If you want to view our full disclaimer, please visit aaii.com/privacy/disclaimer. And then please keep an eye on your chat throughout the webinar, as I'll be sharing helpful resources and links that pertain to today's content. And then if you have any questions for our speaker during the presentation, please submit them using the questions section of your GoToWebinar control panel. And then once our presentation concludes, I'll select a few for John to answer. And then if your question isn't selected during the broadcast, you can feel free to email us at members@aaii.com. Our presenter slide deck is available under the handout section of your GoToWebinar control panel, which is located on the right-hand side of your screen. If you're having issues with your audio or the video during the webinar, please visit the GoToWebinar website for support at gotowebinar.com. And then I have a handy link that I'll put in the chat momentarily. This presentation is being recorded, and a replay of the webinar will be available on our YouTube channel, as well as on our website at aaii.com/webinars. And in this webinar, John will cover a few things, such as why we built My Portfolio Plus and launched the new AAII Investor Hub, how to manage your portfolios, screens, and investment research all in one place, how to use AAII stock screens, view stock grades, and get AI-powered insights from our new chatbot, James, and what's coming next, and how these tools can help you achieve your investing goals in 2026 and beyond. And then we also have a special offer for today's attendees. You can get a $50 discount on a new one-year subscription to A+ Investor by visiting aaii.com/A+-bonus and entering the promo code 50OFF+ at checkout. And I'll put everything in the chat so that you'll have everything at your disposal. And then we know that's a lot of information to digest, so don't worry, I will also put all of the information as far as how to access the hub, the My Portfolio, and everything in the chat as well. And with that, I'd like to hand over the presentation to John.
Well, thank you so much, Jenna, and welcome to our presentation today. And Jenna, if you see any questions that come across from members that would be best answered right away, please feel free to interrupt, and happy to try to get everybody on the same page as far as that goes. So thank you so much, and welcome to our presentation today. I'm going to be doing a live demonstration today off of our hub. We do have a handout, and the handout, I'll try to kind of follow along the steps that we kind of talk about in the handout, but I thought it'd be better to do it, just actually walk through the program, the features, and all those kinds of things. So, you know, as any live demonstration, it's always risky. Sometimes things go right, sometimes things don't go as they expect them to, but I have confidence in our ability to convey some of the information we need to get across to you guys today. One of the things that I mean, as an organization, we've been around for so many years now, and AAII.com has been evolving, you know, continuously over the years. And one of the challenges we faced is that we keep building upon what we have in existing tools, resources, and whatnot. So when we really sat down and kind of planned out how we wanted to keep developing our interaction with our members, the development team here really thought it was best to kind of strip away some of the archaic tools we're using and kind of build up from the ground using new technologies that are faster, more responsive, work well on phones as well as computers and whatnot. So the Investor Hub kind of started off as a way to start rebuilding the key research and interactive tools of our membership offerings using new technology that is more responsive and will work better for us. So as such, we figured out what was the most critical thing and the way that most of us interact with our investments, and that was via the portfolio. And using the portfolio sort of as a central hub for looking at your holdings, whether they're stocks, funds, ETFs, doing research off your holdings, looking at different views of information, you know, whether or not they are, if you're a value investor, perhaps some of the valuation metrics on your portfolio holdings. If you're a growth investor, some of the growth elements of your holdings, but taking a look at really the portfolio, your whole actual portfolio. We're creating a special watch list as well that we'll be launching as well for you to kind of keep track of your ideas. But that is sort of going to serve as the central area from which we do all of your further analysis. So that was kind of the thought process as to why we would focus in on that. We also took a look at other tools that our members are really interacting with a lot, and one of those being our AI stock screens. So we thought that would be a good element to also pull into this new hub, as well as, you know, people are reading articles, they want to save them, they want to interact with them. And then finally, you know, with the growth of artificial intelligence and large language models, you know, really how people now search and analyze information has changed as well. And the ability of basically searching, doing asking a intelligent bot to look through all of our complete archive of AI articles, connect up with our stock investor and mutual fund data, and ask questions that require more of a little bit more interactive response. We also then developed a AI chatbot as well. That's still in beta form, but we keep enhancing it. But that also then was kind of served as a central starting point for the hub. So I'm going to try to follow along with our slide deck, but I'm going to introduce different features and talk about them. And hopefully you'll find some new insights as far as how one can go ahead and make their life a little bit easier and better and become a better investor with our tools. So the primary way to access our hub right now is off of under tools. If you click on the My Investor Hub, it'll take you to the hub. Now I'm going to treat you today to the upcoming version of our hub. We're going to be launching this probably on Monday. We thought it was, you know, it was ready to go now. We were doing constant improvements to the hub. We thought it would be, it's always kind of risky to launch it on a Friday, just in case something goes wrong. We don't want you guys to be stuck with something that's perhaps broken or not completely working properly over the weekend. So we're launching on Monday the version of the hub I'm showing you now. So some of these features might be coming, might not be fully available on the hub that's out there right now. But this is sort of the main central point of the hub. Along the side here are these panels that give you either access back to AI.com, kind of this home page we're looking at now, the My Portfolio, the AI chatbot, library of saved articles, and stock screens. This is sort of the navigational tool. If you click on this arrow next to it, it kind of hides it. So it's kind of a modern way of interacting with tools and resources that you have out there now. Just taking a quick glance down this home page of the hub. So at the very top, we kind of if you have a portfolio that's been saved or favorited rather, you could have multiple portfolios. You could favorite them. In this case, I favorited the shadow stock portfolio that I have saved as a portfolio in my group. And it gives you some quick insight and allows you to go ahead and view the insights on that particular portfolio, get a sense for what the grades are, what kind of stocks happen to be moving and whatnot, if they pass any other screens and whatnot. So that's kind of one quick snapshot of your favorited portfolio. And then you get down to the middle section, you have, again, your favorited portfolio along with its value change over time is listed, and you can control the time period which this reflects. You can click on year to date, 1 year, whatever time frame of those holdings and how they've grown over time. You then provide a quick snapshot. In this case, because we're on the home page of the hub, we just take the first 5 portfolios and we give a quick asset allocation breakdown of your holdings. You get a quick sense. You can go ahead and modify them. We'll get in that in a moment. Middle section just has some featured articles. In fact, here's one article that we talked about. That in this case, this is an article that's from the the current journal, January journal, and it talks about the features of this my rebuilt portfolio and whatnot. If you take a look at it, loading here, you can go ahead and read further information about the my portfolio, its features, and things of that nature. Then we have a snapshot of your screens that you've favorited. Again, you could favorite screens. We have 55 different strategies that are continuously updated every day with new ideas and whatnot, but you can go ahead and find some that really appeal to your investment style, favorite them and follow them here. And then lastly, as an association, we've produced many articles over time. I know personally there's certain articles that kind of ring true to me and I want to save them and access them later. So anytime you're looking at an article, in this case, let's say you're looking at Charles's article here on the My Portfolio, you wanted to go ahead and save it, you can click on Save to Library, and you could pick a specific category or folder you've created for it. This could be, I'll call it under, let's put it under Portfolio Management. And I could save that article and I could reference it later on in my portfolio of saved articles. So anytime you come across anything on our website that you find of interest, you see a little save icon on it, you save it, you could pick a category, you could build a new category, and it's available for you later on. So I use it all the time. I save them based upon perhaps stock screens or areas of interest that I have, or a company that I find, or analysis that I find that is of interest to me. So let's get into the My Portfolio feature in greater depth. So the notion here is that we've tried to improve upon how one can build portfolios, create portfolios, and how one can access information on those portfolios themselves. So just make sure I'm caught up with you guys here. So we try to, first thing we try to do is basically simplify how it is you build a portfolio. And we're traditionally within our portfolio tracking tool, you've had to enter your securities one at a time, or when you actually build the portfolio. What we're trying to do now is, in effect, create 3 different ways upon which you can actually build a portfolio listing or keep it active. One is the manual process where you simply go ahead and give it a portfolio name and enter some tickers and build it one at a time. You could always then do an import. So you can go ahead and import a comma separated file. In this case, I'm going to import this Dreamin article, this Dreamin list of tickers that passed using Stock Investor Pro today. I processed it. I'm going to hit next. It tells me that I was able to actually, I probably should give it a name. I'll call it ideas. And that it quickly gives me the option if I want to go ahead, I can tell it how many stocks, how many shares I want to add, the date. That pulls in the price automatically, the most recent price for that particular stock. Again, you can leave all this stuff blank if you want to. I'm going to just put 1 share for each of these, just to help us with some of the analytics down the line. And when you hit finish, it then builds that portfolio. Now again, I'm using this beta version of the application here, which is going to be out in the next day or so, probably Monday. But and then it quickly gives you a quick view of those holdings. And if you want to change from different portfolios, you can, this little drop-down list under portfolio list, that tells you how you can basically go ahead from portfolio to portfolio and move from perhaps the dream and ideas we just created to shadow. And the information that's available then is kind of a thing we've changed a lot with this new portfolio tracker. So in the past, we had these basic views, the snapshot, intraday, monthly gain loss from purchase, fundamental. But now, in effect, we allow you to go ahead and modify these views. So let's say you want to look at the fundamentals, but I really don't care too much about the price to book ratio. You can go ahead and modify that, and then going forward, you could just minimize which columns of data you're looking at. So you have the ability now to customize the views that you're looking at. The other thing that's sort of interesting now too is going a little bit deeper in that is that when it comes to views, we are now giving you additional analytics in the sense of if I wanted to take a look, this happens to be the shadow portfolio or my shadow portfolio. If I go under views and pick the shadow view, these are the analytical columns that are appropriate to the shadow stock model portfolio. So this view tells me right now which of these holdings are currently held in the model shadow stock portfolio, the price, the market cap, because that's a factor that we use for screening within the shadow stock portfolio. The price earnings ratios, if they exist, they might be NA for some of these, the price to book ratio, dividend yield. And I could, again, like anything, I could go ahead and customize which views I see. So if I want to see, if I want to see the value grades, I can see them. If I don't want to, I don't have to. If I want to take off the price related stuff, I don't care about the price earnings ratio, dividend yield. All of a sudden my views, my columns are being dynamically adjusted as I make those changes, and I can go ahead and even export that as an Excel file or print it up. So you now have much more control. In the case, let's take a look at the Dreamin portfolio, which we created this Dreamin ideas list that we have. And I happen to know that it is part of the SSR strategies. And strategy group 2 is kind of following the Dreamin approach. And this will tell me if any of those stocks happen to be held in the Dreamin portfolio. And it gives me the kinds of analytics that are more common to the Dreamin analysis. So very powerful tool here in the sense that it's pulling in data that's unique to each particular strategy or approach or model portfolio. And if you look at our development timeline, our goal in the not too distant future is to actually allow you to pick and choose almost about any fundamental, technical, fund, stock type data column. You can go ahead and build your own views. So all of a sudden now, you could use your portfolio holdings, you could build a watch list of stocks, and you could use this portfolio view as a way to do some analysis in terms of either selecting stocks or determining which stocks to prune. So you get a quick sense for which stocks to add or remove and whatnot. So it becomes a very powerful tool as far as that's concerned. Now, when you're looking at the portfolio and you happen to see something like a plus next to it, some of these things, such as the grades, require a subscription to A+ Investor Platinum. If you don't see a plus next to it as a member, you get that basic benefit. So in this case, you quickly get a sense for looking at the grades. What is the grades of these stocks that passed the Dream idea? They tend to be interesting. A couple of value stuff. Now the Dream screen looks more for price earnings ratio. Our overall value grade considers many factors beyond price earnings, things such as enterprise value and price to book and shareholder yield. So some of these stocks aren't necessarily as cheap as others based upon our value criteria. And if you see a plus sign next to a ticker, such as you see here, that's a quick way. If you see an idea you like, all of a sudden say, yeah, I like that stock. Perhaps I want to build a portfolio out of it. In fact, interesting, I picked a stock that's part of the Dow 30. I can go ahead and maybe add it to a new portfolio. And now all of a sudden it's been added to that list. And now you've taken in effect an idea from one area and added it to another. So anytime you see a plus next to a company's ticker, and this takes you to the actual analyzer, that would, in this case, our plan is to pull that into our hub infrastructure. But for now, taking that particular view would take you outside of the organization and would take you to the main site and give you the stock analyzer in this context here. So you'd have the grades, you can get a deep dive on the grades, news, evaluations, things of that nature. Now, I'm gonna give you a one quick, I know you're seeing this install app here. That is also something that's gonna be coming to you in the next few days. So it'll be the ability to do this kind of work we're doing here with an app that is saved to your desktop, or in the case of a mobile phone, your phone or whatnot. If you install this app, you can gain access to these tools independent of your browser, and it'll update this information. Even if it'll give you access to the information if you're not on the web, but once you hook up to the web, you'll be able to gain access to it as well. So this is a feature that's coming to you in a few days or so. So keep an eye out for this hub to be changing. I think you'll have some fun with that as far as that's concerned. So I'm gonna go ahead and install that app, and I'm gonna go back to what I was doing here in terms of portfolios. So let's see here. So we talked about those features. Now, the analysis of a portfolio, covers many things. We talked about the grades, diversification. So diversification view gives you a quick sense for, how is the portfolio broken down by basic assets classes. In this case, this happens to be a mixed asset group. It looks like it's pretty, and based upon what kind of investor you are, whether aggressive, conservative, or moderate, how does the allocation compare against those particular areas? This particular mixed asset portfolio is heavy on cash, about equally weighted based on domestic stocks, has no foreign stocks, as foreign holdings. We can look at heavily invested in information technology, communication services, pretty weak in other particular sectors. It tends to be very large cap in its focus, almost exclusively large cap, and it's all domestic. So it's diversification analyzer. And again, if you have different views, you'll get different information. Click on diversification analyzer. Again, this portfolio is a little bit more mixed. It follows allocations more carefully as far as that's concerned. Actually, I thought I picked a, all right. Let me pick a different group, different portfolio here. So this happens to be a portfolio that kind of matches up with one of our allocation models. So you can see it kind of mirrors our allocation more in a more normal basis. In this case, information technology is still strong, but not as strong as it used to be, and whatnot. So a lot of information is available here. Insights probably more useful. Let's go to the Dreamin one we just created. Let's do Wenger stocks. So if you click on Insights, it does a quick breakdown on whether or not the stocks that are in this particular portfolio, whether or not they pass any kind of screens, any kind of grade information on them. In this case, a lot of them have grades of 61, have grades of B or better. Some of the return information on them as well. So, and which screens happen to pass. So Boom passes the price to sales screen. You can go ahead and modify that screen or take a look at that screen and get some further information on that particular factor as well. Alerts. So in this case, we provide alerts based upon price changes as well as grade changes, and you can manage them here, whether or not you care of whether or not a stock reaches a new high or low, whether or not its increase for any given day is strong, 2% or higher, and you could select which portfolios you want to get alerts on. And what happens then every day, at the end of the day, you'll get an email from us letting you know these stocks and these portfolios have hit these price targets or price changes or whatnot. By the same token, the same is true on the grade alerts. On the alerts, you could also look at which of these stocks have had changes in grades. Now in the portfolio, in this case, within the shadow stock portfolio, under momentum, looks like the DMC Global had an upgraded momentum, as well as Panagea Logistics, Group 3. We had Bosch Health Club here. Bosch Health Companies had an upgrade in its momentum as well. So it gives you a quick sense for alerts that have happened or changes that have happened to your portfolio as far as that is concerned. The other part that we've tried to really make it simpler as far as the portfolio is concerned is making changes to it. Let me refresh this screen a little bit. So let's take a look at the shadow. And in this context, I want to go ahead and look at the lots. I can go ahead and manage individual lots. So if I bought a stock over time or fund over time, I could have multiple purchase lots over those securities. I can go ahead and manage them. If I want to add a holding, pretty easy to go ahead and add a holding. Let's see here. I don't know. Let's just add Apple, even though it doesn't necessarily make. This is risk of using, I guess, the demo version of the program, huh? I shall pass that on to our developers. So one can go ahead and make changes to their portfolios. You can go ahead and download this view as well. So it's a lot of flexibility as far as that's concerned. So it's kind of a quick rundown on the portfolio stuff. There's different ways to manage these things. You could change the name. A lot of flexibility here as far as getting information as well. The My Library feature, again, it's allows you to save articles for reference in the future. You can create your categories. These are the categories that I've created personally, and I've been here for a long time, so I've been tracking a lot of different articles. I happen to, I might be focused in on first cuts. These are some of the things that we've written over time. Perhaps areas that are tied towards our year-end screening reviews. So you might go ahead and come across something of interest. Again, these categories are things you give yourself as far as names, but you can create a new folder, but allows you to quickly and gain access to a library of articles. And over time, if you catch something, you're reading something that you find of interest, you save it, you make it available for you, and it's becomes pretty handy to have that way. The screening section of the association is one of the more popular tools that we offer. And over the years now, every time we've come across both classic screens that are based upon specific factors or guru screens. Perhaps you read a book by someone like Peter Lynch, and in there he had an approach that we were able to quantify into specific rules that one could use to build a portfolio that follows that style of investing. So we've got 55 different strategies that we've built over time. And every day we run these quantitative screens and we indicate which companies are passing that. So one of our more popular features, and if you click on the all screens view, this gives you a quick performance breakdown. This happens to be, everything here is through end of last year. So top performing screen last year was the Wanger revised screen. This little star next to each name allows you to favorite a screen. So in this case, I've just favorited the Wanger screen. I'll be able to keep track of it more personally down the line. And these are the stocks. This is the performance of the Wanger screen over time. The characteristics of the stocks that currently pass this screen. We see that in this case, Wanger screen, which is kind of I think it has a PEG ratio element to it. That's really the lowest P ratio, but the stocks that currently pass that screen have a median P of 23.4. They don't pay a dividend yield. relatively small. They have a market cap of 881 million. Relative strength is a little bit on the weaker side, and turnover not too great. So actually not too much turnover. And then what's the typical grades? Well, the stocks that currently pass the Wenger screen have a C value grade on average, a B growth grade on average, momentum grade of B, and a quality grade of A. So high quality, average value, relatively above average growth, and above average momentum as well. And if I click on the Wenger screen, and then go ahead and takes me to the actual current screen itself and its holdings. So you first of all have the performance chart over time. You have indication of which stocks are currently passing, and allows you to, again, favorite them if you want to, add them to a portfolio, and gives you some background on what the particular thesis is behind those screens. So once you've favored a screen, you can go ahead and click on my screens and my element of that as far as that is concerned. So that allows you then to start taking a little bit deeper dive on just the screens that you find of interest. And I've probably favorited quite a few screens here, so probably more than a typical user might. But then I could go ahead and this gives me a list of all the stocks that are currently passing my screen. And I can look at it one by one. So it allows me to quickly gain access to the results of any given screen and get a sense for what's passing and quickly do a deep dive on those stocks that are there. The grades, again, in this case, the grades of the individual holdings of the screens. So beyond just having a summary of the portfolio, actually, what are the stocks? What are the grades? So I can go ahead and do some further addition. If I then want to do some research, I could research that by clicking on the ticker symbol. That'll take me over to our main site and take you to the specific stock analyzer page. I click on all of a sudden the stock that looks of interest. I go hit the plus sign, add it to a portfolio or a watch list. So that allowed me to go ahead and basically modify and keep hold of those things over time. So the grades thing is kind of another element to look at stocks that are passing your screens and what the grades on those are. And this is the my stocks passing any screen. So now this takes a look at all the stocks you've saved to your portfolios. And it indicates, first of all, what portfolio it's in. In this case, I have a portfolio of Dividend Aristocrats, also with my Dream and Ideas screen. So the Abbott Labs currently passes 2 screens. And if I want to, I can go ahead and actually favorite one of these screens if I wanted to as well. So it's sort of interesting way to go ahead and manipulate and find out which stocks you own or in your portfolios, which strategies they're currently passing as far as what we have saved on our website. And then stocks passing multiple screens. Right now, as far as all of the stocks that we have on our universe, all domestically listed stocks, if I want to say, for example, I'm curious to see how many stocks are passing at least 5 screens. So only 6 stocks currently pass at least 5 screens. These are the 6 stocks. We have Calmine Foods, MCore Group, Innovative Aerosystems. So these happens to be the screens. So how many screens they pass, and this happens to list you which screens they are passing. So you have a quick sense for which stocks are potentially and more interesting candidates to look at because they pass multiple screens. In this case, up, estimate revisions up, Kirkpatrick Bargain, Kirkpatrick Growth, and Laconishak screen. So it might give you a sense for what kind of stocks you want to take a look at and how they happen to be viewed that way as far as that's concerned. The other part that I want to kind of highlight here then, beyond these individual features, is the Ask James, and this happens to be a lot of work is going into this. This is evolving rather quickly, but we've taken all of our article archive, and our article archive I think goes back to 95 or so, if I'm not mistaken, and we've in effect vectorized them or fed them into a special database that artificial intelligence language systems use, and we've made them searchable in a way that these LLM engines can analyze. On top of that, we've also taken the data that we have within our applications, within our stock screens, within our fund screens and whatnot, and we've taken that stock and fund data that we have on our evaluator and also made it available to this LLM engine. So in this context, we are trying to basically mirror, the ability to basically do language standard queries or searches across our article archive, across our financial data, and start to provide kind of a kind of more intelligent interaction and querying back and forth. And it's evolving. We've offered it first to our members last month. We've already been making regular changes, things such as trying to add memory, kind of remembers a question within a session, and also perhaps the ability of remembering questions over time. But let's for example, asking you, what is it gives you some suggested types of questions here that you might want to consider. It then goes ahead and starts to query its engine. It's thinking, it's looking at the value grade for Amazon. So in this case, it's not looking at our article database, it's rather looking at what is the current grade for Amazon within our ecosystem. And it tells you it currently has a value grade of F. So on a price to earnings basis, price to book basis, not necessarily attractive, but what is the if I could type here. I'll go ahead and auto-correct this. So as a momentum grade of C, actually in this case, it gave us some additional elements. It actually went back and provided the other grades. If I want to ask about perhaps so in this case, I try to ask it a question that's more text-based as opposed to database, and asked it what's an attractive asset allocation. So that goes ahead and looks through our resources. That actually, because it's based more, in this case, not on our data, but based upon searching of our article archive, it then comes back and tries to summarize that answer, but then also provides links to those types of resources that it used for its analysis. So you can go ahead and do a deeper dive to understand why it asked those questions or why they get that answer to it. So this Ask James thing is a relatively new thing. It's evolving. We have listed as beta, and we keep trying to make it more powerful and more useful. So that's sort of a quick rundown on some of these tools here. Whenever you come to this particular part of our website here, the What's New section will try to highlight what's changed as far as features in terms of what's changed within the chatbot, or in this case, the install app, which we're just kind of featuring right now. So quick sense on improvements that have happened since you've been here last. The roadmap tries to illustrate what we're going to be doing in the upcoming future. And one of the big things we're working on right now is broker integration. So to the extent that you link up your portfolio with a broker all securely using perhaps a service like Plaid, we're trying to determine that right now, but it'll then go out and pull in fresh, it'll keep accounting of your holdings within our portfolio tracker, and you can go ahead and now do analytics across your portfolio without having to go ahead and enter your securities and whatnot and holdings over time. And it'll change as you link changes and whatnot. Again, we keep enhancing the AI bot. The view builder is, I think, going to be a very powerful tool to enhance how you look at the data in the portfolio tracker. And so this gives you a kind of a roadmap for what we're trying to build out over time. And we're always curious about, what kind of questions we might have. And that's why we have a feedback area. And we encourage anybody who uses this tool to give us some feedback. It helps us understand how we should develop it going forward, whether or not you're satisfied with the hub, what you found helpful, what you didn't find helpful, how you often you use it, and also, what kind of points you could use for improvement and whatnot. So these are all will helping us as far as our development become more interactive with what your needs are and how you might go ahead and build information. If you come across an error or a bug, just click on the help and support, and this is a report that'll get and sent out to our development team as far as any kind of issues and whatnot to support. So I've been doing a lot of talking. I want to leave a lot of time for questions and answers. So Jenna, I'm here to illustrate more functionality of these tools and also to help perhaps answer some questions that members might have.
Sounds good. We've got a lot of people in the chat sharing where they're tuning in from, if they're an A+ or Platinum subscriber. We have a lot of questions coming in, so I think we'll be able to field as many as we can. I also wanted to reiterate, so I am posting some helpful links and resources in the chat section of your GoToWebinar panel. So right now I included how to access the hub itself at hub.aaii.com. And then I also put in there if you want to find Ask James, my portfolio, and then also if you want to take part in the survey, I included the actual survey link, but you can also go to where John had just pointed out to the feedback on the hub as well. So let's take a look at some questions. All right, I think we have a lot of questions here. Let me see. I got to filter through a couple of these. Let's see. Okay, I think we have a lot of questions on this kind of similar topic. So is there a way to see multiple portfolios combined? So like the diversification analysis of multiple portfolios rather than just one?
I don't believe that there is right now, but that's a good feature that I'll get suggested to our developers.
It is.
This particular, I believe, this value we're looking at here is of the overall portfolio. This is combining all the portfolio values, but I don't believe that there's a view that lists a greater in-depth analysis of those multiple portfolios. So this happens to be the value we're looking at is all the portfolios combined, but it's not. We don't have any additional analytics based upon all portfolios.
Okay. And then is there a limit to the number of stocks that you can place in one portfolio? Is there a limit on?
I think it's 200. If I think I tried importing a portfolio yesterday and I hit 200, so that might be it.
That's great. Let's see what else. Oh, this is a good question. I saw this a couple times. Is this AI Investor Hub platform available to just Windows-based computers, or are Apple users able to access as well?
Yeah, this hub tool should be really agnostic to all forms. In fact, even the tool, if you access it should work on a Mac. I know one of our developers just recently picked up a Mac and has been doing some testing on it. But also it should work on your phone as well. So if you come to the site, and I guess this is probably the version we're going to be launching in the next day or two. If you're prompted to download the app, it'll actually download a kind of a version of the app that's appropriate for that particular device. So it could be a phone, it could be your Windows system, it could be a Mac system. So it does work equally well across all platforms.
That's great to hear. And in one portfolio, are you able to mix stocks, mutual funds, and ETFs, or do you have to keep them kind of agnostic?
No, you can go ahead, and this happens to be a portfolio I have saved here. It's called Mixed Asset Summary, and this happens to include a collection of stocks. I see some ETFs in here. I see some funds in here as well. So in that case, you can combine them all. Obviously, some of the data elements are on the fundamental side. I mean, you're not going to have PE ratios presented for a fund. So some of the data elements that might be appropriate for a stock or for a fund won't be displayed. But then when you do your analytics and diversification, it then takes a look at, it tries to consider whether it's a stock or fund, and takes a look at the characteristics of the fund to indicate if it's what its cap size is and things like that nature, and international versus domestic. So we tried then to do the analytics based upon the asset type. But so no, you are certainly free to go ahead and manage and mix in a collection of assets.
Great, excellent. And let's see. Oh, this was a good question that I did see quite often. How often are linked portfolios updated? So if you upload or upload one via a CSV file, or you manually update it, how often would that be updated? Daily,
Well,
weekly?
I guess there's probably two answers to that question, or two ways to think about that question. So once you enter a portfolio, in this case, I've entered, like today we just entered this Dream and Ideas portfolio. So the data in here, like some of the data, like the daily change is dynamic. And wow, interesting. So Abbott Labs is having a tough day today. So some of this information is dynamic in a sense that it's updated in the course of the day. Some of the information, typically like grades are updated daily as far as these grades are concerned. Same thing with the companies that happen to pass a given stock screen. The stocks that pass a given screen, that information is updated on a daily basis. The changes to that portfolio, if it's manually managed, as far as if I add a stock or fund or remove a stock or change the number of shares or whatnot, that information is dependent upon you. I mean, if you go ahead and make changes to it, it'll change. And we're still kind of, I'm supposed to see a demo tomorrow of the integration with the broker. Normally speaking, when a portfolio is tied to a broker, every time you synchronize it, the holdings will change. So that is typically how a synced portfolio would work. So if it's manually entered, it's up to you as far as updating the information. If it's automatically linked, then it depends on how often you want to link it.
Excellent. That's a good overview. And let's see. Oh, so if you create a portfolio on your own, can you export that out as a CSV or Excel file? Because we talked about importing it into the, like, on the kind of on the flip side.
Yeah, there are export tools. So you can, in effect, export it. In this case, I exported an Excel file. I could change the columns that I want. So if I wanted to simply, focus on just ticker and make it real simple, I could then export that, and it'll just have a smaller collection of columns. So in that context, that then is available as an export.
That's great.
And it'll be, in this case, it'll be Excel format. We don't offer specifically a CSV, but then you could use just about any spreadsheet program to modify it and save it as a CSV if you so desire.
Correct. Let's see. And then kind of similarly to how many stocks that you can have in a portfolio, how is there a limit on how many portfolios you can create?
It's a fair question. I probably should have asked the developers ahead of the call. I don't know that information. There is a limit as far as number of portfolios. I know I did hit it once, and I was asked because I wanted to build another one, and I couldn't do it anymore.
I think I have at least 25, so I'm not sure that
yeah.
it might be a large number.
It is, and again, we're in the process of transitioning. So right now, if you go to our website and you go to the My Portfolios within our website, it's using the classic portfolio view. And it's actually telling you to go ahead and go to the My Portfolio feature on the hub. But our plan, and anything you make, any change you make to any portfolio using the classic portfolio editor versus the My Portfolio editor, all that information is synced, so there is no disconnect. But there's a certain features we want to add down the line. So at the end of February, I think we're going to go ahead and basically end we're going to replace, in effect, this classic view with the new portfolio view, and it'll allow us to add some additional features. So our ability to add in things like broker integration, a watch list, a dedicated watch list, which is just stocks you want to keep track of with price alerts and things like that. Those are going to be tied to us basically sunsetting the classic portfolio view and basically making everyone use the new portfolio feature. But again, any information you currently enter in the classic view gets saved and used in either section. So there's no worries right now as far as losing any information back and forth. But to enhance some of the features on the My Dashboard, we're going to have to sunset the classic portfolio view.
Excellent. That actually answered a couple questions too, because I think a lot of people were wondering, if they hadn't taken a look at the Investor Hub or the My Portfolio yet, whether or not if they were using the older version of My Portfolio, was it synced over? So that did answer that question. Thank you. Let's see. As far as this is more of a grades question on the My Portfolio. So if a stock has a downward and upward arrow, do you know what that indicates?
Yeah, an arrow next to a stock, like in this case, I'm looking at the classic view, so just to keep it simple, this happens to be the shadow view. There's an up arrow next to the momentum grade here. That tells us that in the last day, the grade just clicked up from a C to a B. So the breakpoints in this case, we could take a look at DMC Global. I believe the breakpoints for the grades would probably be for B probably has to be 60 to 80 roughly to get a B grade. So I'm guessing the momentum score must have crossed from below 60 to above 60, and as a corresponding grade changed from a C to a B. So DMC's global grade yesterday would have been a C. Today it's a B, so it points to an improvement, which is why that's why we typically want to highlight in the alerts area any kind of meaningful grade changes. So we try to highlight that, and you can get an alert. You can sign up for alerts if you go to the My Portfolio. Sorry. And click on alerts, click on this then allows you to, see your alerts, but also allows you then to manage your alerts, and you can go ahead and sign up. So all members have access to price alerts. If you want to get grade alerts, you have to be an A+ or platinum subscriber. And so all members get price alerts, but you can then go ahead and determine, yeah, I'm interested in you could adjust specifically what kinds of grades you want to get alerted upon. So do you care about value momentum? You can get, also you could adjust to see which portfolios you want to get alerts on. So if you happen to have a lot of portfolios, but you only care about one or two of them, you can go ahead and just specify not only whether or not a new grade, whether or not the grade goes up, whether or not the grade goes down, and does it have to be a single grade change from an A to a B? Does it have to be at least jump 2 grades? So the level of sensitivity can be determined by you as well.
That's excellent. It's good customization. And you might have mentioned this earlier. I was responding to a lot of questions and comments and things. So pardon me if I missed it, but are you able to kind of demo how to delete an investment from a portfolio? I think there were a couple people who had different questions throughout just about how to remove one.
Yeah, let's go ahead and, well, there's a couple of different functions, I guess, tied towards a portfolio. So let's say you've created a portfolio. Let's take a look at the Wanger stocks portfolio. At this point in time, I don't want to track that portfolio anymore. The 3 dots next to a portfolio name allows you to do a couple of things. A, it allows you to favorite it. So in this case, if I wanted to stop favoriting the shadow portfolio and I wanted to instead favor this dream in the portfolio, I can go ahead and click next to that 3 dots, hit the favorite sign, and all of a sudden that's now my featured portfolio. So when I come into the home page, it'll be the portfolio that happens to be featured here within this particular section as well. But then the other things you could do with your 3 dots then, is you could either then modify the portfolio. In this case, you can go in and say, well, I want to get rid of in this case, China Automotive Systems. I only want to deal in domestic stocks. I go ahead and hit delete. And that particular stock has now been removed from this particular portfolio. Let me go back a level to where we were before. I want to highlight the functions of the three dots. We're talking about the Wenger one. You could also then say, I don't, this is a portfolio I don't want to track anymore. Hit delete. And I've now deleted the overall portfolio. But within a given, let's pick one of these, I guess. To go growth investing, modify. Let's say I want to, in this case, get rid of DocuSign. So DocuSign is a holding in here. I don't have any shares attached to it. I can go ahead and delete that security. And let's say I want to add a holding to it. I hit the plus sign next to holding. Let's say I want to go ahead and let's say I want to add an American Express. I would then start type a ticker symbol, hit the next button. I could, let's say I'm buying it today. Oops, I have to select it. And I'm going to buy, 10 shares. It's pulling in the most recent price, and I hit finish. It's now saved my portfolio, this holding of my change. It says I'm owning 6 shares. So it then recalculates the portfolio value. So that's how I would go ahead and manage the individual holdings. And I could even add a secondary, lot. Let's say I'm buying an additional share. Select buying it today. 6 more shares. That's fine. In this case, it's not giving me the price. I'll just make up a price. And I'm in effect down. Now I'm done now. So if I collapse this window, I now have my 6 shares. Actually, I should have 9 shares. It took a moment. Okay, there we go. Now I have my 9 shares, and these are the prices for those shares.
Great. Thank you so much for demoing. That was really helpful. Let's see. Got a couple questions about like security, privacy of the portfolios when you enter them. Can you give a little bit of information about just like how secure our system is and things like that?
That's a fair question. I wish I could answer that in greater depth. I know that I'll have to, I guess, get back to that question. I know that I don't, in terms of, I don't know how to answer that. So I wish I could give you some better insights on that. Normally speaking, we're very careful about how we're able to gain access to our servers and how we use information. But beyond that, everything is via a secure link. So everything, any connection you make to our system and our whatnot is server is done via an SSL link. So it's more difficult to interject and do that information. But beyond that, I wish I could give you greater depth of information, but I guess you have stumped me on that. I'm not prepared to answer that question.
Sounds good. And then also, we have secure logins, which is great. And then, you can always request if you'd like to change your password or need password help. We're always there to assist with those things as well. Let's see. Sorry, there's so many questions going in that I have to go through all. It's quite extensive. We really appreciate everyone for, interacting and participating in today's event. I'm going to select one more question, and then if your question wasn't answered during the broadcast, please email us at members@aaii.com, and we'll prioritize getting back to you. especially, if anything with functionality or navigating. We really want everyone to be able to really explore and use the platform successfully. So if we'll of course prioritize all of your communications. Let's see. Oh, here was a good question. So this is more of a future. So actually a little bit of a suggestion. And again, we did, put the feedback area, survey into the chat. So please use that as well. But is there any, I guess, like anything on our checklist that we want to be able to include tips or any kind of like REITs or anything into the portfolios, options to include those kind of different or alternative types of securities in being able to track that in the portfolio?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know that we've over the years have added additional security types. I'll have to direct that to our developers. Our focus has been primarily on more the bread and butter securities, stocks, funds, ETFs. I know we added, I think, the ability to track closed-end funds a while back. So part of it, I guess, has to do with our focus has been tracking security types across which we have analytical data to help you analyze those types of securities. So the stock grades, the fund grades, ETF grades. But then, as you said, there's a need just to be able to track even other security types that aren't necessarily tied to our analytics. But I'll definitely I'll add that to the suggestion list, and I don't have a specific timeline on that. But that is the kind of thing we can add. We have relationships with a number of different data vendors to help us supply information for our tools. When it comes to stock data, our primary data vendor is S&P as far as providing stock information. When it comes to fund and ETF data, our primary vendor is Morningstar. They give us our Morningstar ratings. But then we also use another service called Quote Media, which provides us more of the intraday price and whatnot information. So Quote Media has access to a wide array of security types and across many exchanges. So it's more of a question of, which is the primary driver for the analytics. Is the primary driver our fundamental stock ETF databases, or is it our overall price vendor? But that's a good suggestion. I'll have to put it on the timeline and see how it makes best sense to introduce those kinds of capabilities.
Excellent. Actually, I will take one more question because I think a lot of users have asked this. So when you create a portfolio, is there a way to kind of track or see dividends in or?
It is not. I mean, I guess it's a good way to, I guess, to our focus, I guess, was to enable the portfolio management tool to be more of a hub for analytics, whether it's stock analytics or fund analytics or ETF analytics. And those analytics can be tied to our stock screens, it can be tied to grades, it could be tied to fundamental information or ETF information. So as we start adding in additional data views, soon you'll be able to take a look at just about any collection of pertinent information for a given stock in a custom view you create. So when it comes to tracking things like total return, that hasn't been our primary. We haven't had as many requests from members, and that hasn't been our primary drive. I know that obviously many people who have a broker, they'll keep track of that for you, and every year end you'll get your tax report that has all the information as far as your capital gains, losses, and income dividend. So our focus has been more on the analytics side. That's where most of our members have been spending their time and effort. But who's to say down the line, once we start to get these needs filled out and flushed out, we don't actually help to produce more of the tracking type stuff. But for now, our focus is more on the analytics side, not so much on the taxable event side.
Excellent, excellent. And if I didn't get to your question, then we had a lot coming in at the last minute. So please email us at members@aaii.com. And thank you for everyone, for who submitted their questions. I want to thank you, John, for guiding us through the Investor Hub and redesign my portfolio. I think you gave a great demo showcasing some of the new features and just everything that we've really worked hard on the last few months on to improve and just make it faster, easier to use. And I know our team is really excited about these new changes. But I did want to offer you a chance to just one last time to speak to the audience about the overall Investor Hub and
Sure.
all the new
Well,
updates.
yeah, first of all, I want to thank everybody who's involved in this project. I mean, I want to thank our members who have committed their efforts in us as a partner, and giving us valuable feedback as far as what they find of interest, how they use tools, what they want more of us to be doing. So thank all the members who have been supporting us over the years and have given us very valuable feedback. I mean, I want to thank the developers that we have here. I mean, I have to really shout out to all of them. It's Ozzy, Robert, Mohan. You guys have really, and Apaya as well. I mean, you guys have really worked hard as far as thinking through the needs of our membership base. What it is that kind of drives their needs, their interests, and how we can go ahead and improve our offerings. They're not satisfied with what we were providing as a set of tools, and they're very excited to basically think outside the box a little bit and make use of modern tools and references and capabilities to just kind of listen to what you guys are saying as far as needs and providing the kind of output that you guys might find helpful to manage your wealth. I mean, it's and everybody else at the association, Jenna, yourself, for providing valuable feedback. The analysts here, a member services group, editors who are looking at all the everything in here as far as making sure the things work properly. So without the team, without the whole village, it really couldn't survive and it couldn't keep providing these valuable tools. Not a big organization, but we're really doing, I think, a lot of great tools here, a lot of great benefits, and it's exciting to be seeing a lot of these changes here. We are tracking all your feedback when it comes to questions and answers. We're trying to make sure we're fine tuning everything so we can get better output to you guys and get out more quickly as well. I'm excited about the app we'll be offering shortly. So again, our plan, we're just doing every time we do a rollout of a feature, we always test it internally, and then we test it out. We then release it to the public, and we felt wanted to give it a little bit extra love as far as additional attention before we roll out the next version. And it's always kind of risky to roll out a new feature on Friday. We hate to have anything go wrong that we weren't necessarily expecting. And I know it's going to be a cold weather weekend, and people will probably be inside looking at their portfolios, but look for the next update to the hub on Monday, and also then you'll be getting access to the download tool that you could use outside of the browser, and that should be working on your Mac, your Windows, and your iPhone and Android device as well.
Excellent, very well said, and I couldn't agree more. I think we're all really excited, and we have such a great list of new updates that we're continually rolling out. So I'm always excited when we can send out an email to our A+ and Platinum subscribers, as well as our regular AI membership, when we do get to release those. If you have any questions about the new AI Investor Hub or navigating the My Portfolio features, I know there's a lot, that we threw at you. There's a lot to digest and just kind of explore on your own. But, as you're exploring, feel free to email us at members@AAII.com. Like I said, we really want to help you, adopt our new platform. This is kind of, a transitional period where like I said, we're modifying a lot, we're updating a lot, and we're trying to make this as as helpful to you as possible. So if you have any questions, have any of that feedback, please email us or fill out our survey that John mentioned earlier. That's located, if you can see their screen, it's located in the bottom left corner under feedback. And then just to reiterate, A+ Investor is a premium subscription. It is also part of our AI Platinum service, but also all AI members have access to the new Investor Hub. So if you have one or more premium products, let's say that you're a member and you have growth investing, or let's say you have SSR, you have access to additional benefits as part of the AAII Investor Hub in My Portfolio with those portfolios that you can view inside there. We're trying to keep everything all in one convenient place so you can view them there. And then I just want to reiterate as well that until January 31st, you can use the promo code 50OFF Plus at checkout to get $50 off and a 1-year subscription to A Plus Investor. That's for new subscribers. If you are someone who would like to join A Plus Investor, please visit AAII.com/A+-bonus to claim your offer. And then again, I just want to recognize some of the key people who made these updates and the new platform, possible behind the scenes. So I do want to shout out to Ozzy, Mohan, and Robert Anapaya. Without the dedication of our development team, these enhancements would not have been possible. And we hope you take some time this week to explore the new Investor Hub and My Portfolio Plus. We saw a lot of people who have briefly looked at it, are starting to use it pretty regularly, and then those who haven't seen it at all. So we've had quite a mix. But if you'd like to visit it, go to hub.aaii.com and enter your AAII login credentials to start exploring. And I just want to answer a few because we got a lot of questions on this. Some browsers are a little picky, so you might have to leave off the www at the start of it. So it would just be hub.aaii.com. Some browsers automatically get rid of that, some don't. So just to make that very clear.
You could also access it from the under My AI, under the Investor Hub area there.
Exactly. And then all the little banners you can see on the page that say just launched, you can click on that and it'll take you right there. And then lastly, we get this question a lot, so I always like to reiterate at the very end, but this presentation was recorded and a replay will be available at aaii.com/webinars. Webinar attendees will receive an email with the link to today's recording early next week. In that email, you'll also receive a copy of our presenter slides, as well as links to other resources that we discussed. I'll include the offer as well. And with that, we wish all of you viewing good health, good fortune, and a great rest of your day. So thank you so much and take care.
Thanks for joining us.